Well, right now, there are more than 800 active cases of the coronavirus in South Dakota. 139 of those are in Pennington County. While South Dakota's Department of Health issues daily reports, Rapid City is frustrated with how elected leaders like himself are being kept informed. KELOLAND's Sydney Thorson explains why.
Mayor Allender says he's suspending weekly briefings unless there's a situation down the road where the community needs one. He says there are several reasons why he's halting the meetings.
One of which is that the information is not drastically different from week to week. But also one of the reasons is I think I've just become the middleman in communication because the Department of Health holds the information. And they will communicate it when they're ready to communicate it. And I can't assist with that in the meantime.
The State Department of Health's COVID-19 website is updated daily. Allender usually reports those numbers at his weekly briefings. However, anyone with internet has access to that same information.
Meanwhile, the citizens of our cities and counties are looking to people like me for information. But we're getting it from the news at the same time they are. So in order to try to have an effective communication platform, I would like to be able to have the most up-to-date and most accurate information, and we just don't have that, and I don't think we ever will.
During a briefing today, the State Department of Health said it will continue to operate by calling the organization or people that are exposed first. Kim Mulson-Risden says she is disappointed Mayor Allender decided to stop his meetings.
We have done a colossal amount of work on the COVID response, including in providing data and regular updates to a whole host of individuals, including the public, the media, healthcare providers, other stakeholders. So I was pretty disappointed to hear that.
Allender would like to see a change in the way the health department communicates by adding his contact to the list while tracing.
One more contact to keep people like me informed about what's going on. And then that way, we won't say something out of ignorance, when everyone else knows, everyone else in the health system knows, except for the local officials. I think that runs afoul to true public service.
In Rapid City, Sydney Thorson, KELOLAND News.
The South Dakota State Department of Health will report on nursing homes, businesses, and other settings where there are a number of cases related to a potential exposure setting.
Minnesotans are ready to follow an order from the governor about masking up, whether they agree with it or not. Governor Tim Walz's executive order requires people to mask inside businesses as well as indoor public areas. Some people feel requiring them to wear masks infringes on their freedom, while others say the governor's order will help slow the spread of the coronavirus.
I'm behind his choices. I think he's doing a good job. He's trying to keep people protected, and he's got to make the hard decisions that have to be made right now.
I guess I have no choice. Just like anything else in life, it seems like with what's going on in the world, I just have to suck it up and I guess just wear a mask for a while.
We found many people in LUVERNE, Minnesota already wearing masks. The executive order requiring face coverings takes effect on Saturday.